I don't know why it's doing
I don't know why it's doing that either.
Huh?
It didn't do it.
that. There should be a way where you make the same panels each week or something, so you don't have to go through that. Because it always makes us start 5 minutes late. All right, so be proactive with breaks.
Yo,
Morning.
I gotta change that. I'm in a hotel room. I gotta change this background. It looks really weak.
Good roll.
There we go. That's almost better.
There's. All right, I got 4 Matt Battiatas, so I'm not.
Yeah, we gotta
which
take
one.
off all the Matt Battiatas. Should be only one.
What's up, Dennis?
Hey, buddy.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Up in Louisville. I'm getting ready to go after this to the Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville Sluggers Museum.
Oh, awesome, man.
You can get a bat made there with your name on it.
I got one for Henry. I had it shipped already.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, I'm excited. And I have to go get a COVID test because I can't go to my son's graduation unless I have a COVID test
How
in Chicago.
God.
Everyone.
Ooh, Louisville. Have you guys ever been to Louisville? Really neat, cool area. I spoke
Did
at
you go see where Muhammad Ali grew up?
Is he around here?
Oh, you grew up in Louisville, yeah.
Hey. Yeah, I'm not big on my boxing trivia.
He's dead, so he doesn't live there anymore. Just so you know.
Oh, why go visit then?
Hey, Maddie, who's your second Matt Battiata on there? Is that
I don't know why there's multiple me's on here. No idea.
Well, the other Matt Battiata just showed up, so
I know, right?
for a second there.
Like that's not Matt. It doesn't look like Matt. There you go.
All right, kick him off.
One way to get on the panel is just change your name to Matt Battiata and you'll always be on.
All right.
Right? That'll work.
Well, happy lunchtime to you guys.
Yes, it is.
Hey, Lurch, how you doing, buddy?
Good. Did you have your Captain Crunch this morning? Oh no, it's
No.
no.
It's Fruit Loops. Don't get it right. You know.
So I
You
spoke
are
at a
Fruit
great.
Loops.
I spoke at a really good convention yesterday
Oh, there you go.
called Real Estate Distilled. It was pretty cool. A lot of fun.
Yeah, it's
Awesome.
I need to go down a little bit.
Where was that, Mitch? In Louisville?
In Louisville, yeah. Yeah, there's a couple hundred people. Renee Funk spoke this morning. She was great too. Pretty good.
Yeah.
She wasn't as funny as me, but definitely more articulate.
Right here.
Real estate distilled.
Yeah.
Who put that on, Mitch?
A friend of mine, Scott Hack, does that. So we used to all hang out. We were kind of the pioneers in internet back in the 2004, 3. And so a bunch of us, about a dozen of us, have all hung out together over the years. And
Okay.
it was kind of cool. It was like a reunion. We get to see like half the guys were there, so it was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's better. Yeah. Maybe do the overhead. See. I think it might have to do with this too. All right, I'm just trying to get my lighting.
Like Field of Dreams looked like he's walking into the wall.
Yeah. All right, that's better.
Walking in the water.
All right. Everybody ready to go?
Do it.
Coming
We
in
got
hot.
everything going live. We got it all set. Got my mic. We can get this off and running. And the big thing today that we're going to be speaking about is FSBOs, right, Mitch?
FSBOs.
How to
right,
take
Mitch?
FSBOs, how to get FSBOs. What
Yep.
does FSBOs stand for?
I'm trying to think of a funny joke real quick, but I couldn't do it that quick. Damn it. It's for sale by owner.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, what a
So
concept.
you could,
Right?
for sale, but bring in options, right?
Exactly.
Gotta bring them options and bring them opportunities. That's the big thing. So we're gonna start that up. It looks like Cameron's feeling better. He's got a little more color to him. He must have sat outside for around an hour down there or something.
Yep.
Okay, so let's get this rolling on FSBOs. Mitch, I'm gonna start with you. Give somebody some systems, some tips, some nuggets. All I want today is nuggets. How to set up a system to get FSBOs, because FSBOs will start coming back into this marketplace pretty quickly here as it normalizes. Is everybody feeling that the market's starting to normalize? The frenzy is somewhat over?
Yep, no question.
Okay, so what are you doing to get FISBOs, or what have you done in the past to get FISBOs?
All right, so I'm going to tell you step by step exactly how to get them. I have a 75% conversion rate on this. Pretty cool.
I like that.
And it's really simple. So you know, as we talk about this stuff all the time, right? It's always about doing something that everybody else isn't doing. So you don't pick up the phone going, my water bottle. Hey, Mr. Fizbo, I'm the best friggin' realtor in the world. Use me. Right? And they got to click. Or so here's my system. And I developed this just out of testing different stuff. And I didn't track all of them, but I tracked the last 12 that I did. And I got 8 listings out of the 12 that I did. So here's what I do. I knock on the door. Can you hear that? Knocking on the door. They open the door. As soon as they see you, they're pissed off, right? And I'm like, hi, my name is Mitch with XYZ Realty. And before you say anything, I don't want to list your house. So I'm a huge believer in breaking the pattern immediately, so you can get out of their anger. I said, the only thing I want to do is, do you have a seller's disclosure? And I've never done a FISBO that has a seller's disclosure. And I said, do you understand, without a seller's disclosure, you are liable for up to 5 years after you sell your house if you didn't disclose something to the buyer of your house. And they're like, I have no idea. And we're in a whole different conversation now, right? And so I take out a generic Florida, because we're in Florida, seller's disclosure, and I give it to them. We just start chatting. And it's really just small talk. I have never not been invited in the house. They invite me in the house every single time. Hey, want to check out my house? Walk around, and I'm doing it just like a listing, except I'm not trying to get the listing. And I'm walking around the house and I'm pointing out things that I see and look at that. And, you know, by the way, you know, when you find a buyer, if you need help with the contract, let me know. I'll give you some, you know, I'll guide you a little bit. I can't do it for you because that'd be a violation of what I do, but I'm glad to guide you a little bit. And he's like, well, why are you doing this? And I get that every time. Why are you doing this? I go, well, at some point, I know you're going to know somebody wants to buy or sell a house. And you'll say, you know, this guy, Mitch, he was rocking. He was awesome, which I am, by the way. And so, and then as I'm talking to him, I say, you know, by the way, you know, here's some of my cards. If somebody comes in, they don't have a realtor and they don't want to buy your house, could you, you know, hand my card to them and say, hey, you should be using Mitch, not walking around by yourself. And they always say yes. My last one I did one like 5 years after I stopped selling full time, just to test it because I hadn't done it for a while. And it was really fun. This really beautiful woman opens the door, and I'm like, it was pretty bad. But anyway, she sent me 2 $850,000 buyers. Never listed her house, never sold her house. In fact, she never sold the house because it was overpriced by $100,000. And then when I leave, right, when I leave, I go ahead and write a handwritten note when I get home with a few more business cards. I say, look, I'm going to keep in touch with you every once in a while, just to see how you're doing. And if you have any questions, definitely call me. I usually list within 1 to 2 weeks. It's usually listed. Very simple. I mean, it's really not a hard thing. The biggest thing is doing something different. Don't stop talking about how awesome you are. Go in there and break that pattern right away, and then go back and follow up like everything else. And I've never gone more than 2 weeks without listing a house.
Yeah, I think most FISBOs only, I think the statistics are they only stay on the market for 2 weeks on their own. And then they kind of say, you know, the hell with this, it's too crazy.
And generally
So
within a week
too.
Yeah, generally within a week, you know, when they get that, almost always, every time I've sent that handwritten card, it promotes a phone call from them to me, and we list house. Great stuff.
I mean, a lot of times what I say to them, and when I'm breaking the ice on the phone, I don't even say, hey, I'm trying to get a list. I just say, are you still motivated and trying to sell your house? They say yes. And I typically say to them, well, your house hasn't sold. It has nothing to do with price. Can I come by and take a look at it? And that's it. And they're kind of confused. It breaks that pattern because everybody else is saying, oh, you priced wrong, or you can't do it, or this or that, right? And then I get on their side. They usually say, oh, I don't like agents. And I said, neither do I. So we both have that in common. So
yeah, no, that's great. So the reason why I always keep seller's disclosures in my car. And so I would drive by a FISBO and just knock on the door. And by the way, FISBOs today, Zillow, every FISBO in the area is on Zillow. Just go to Zillow, you'll find. I did the other day, there was 250 in Brevard County. That's all. We only have 750 single family homes. So think about that. 250 FISBOs. Crazy.
right? That's crazy stuff. All right, I like that, Mitch. I like breaking the pattern. We're gonna go from Mitch to Matt Battiata, the man, the myth, the legend. Look, he's not bragging. He's just trying to apply for a job. Let me know how you get the job with the FSBOs.
So I do something similar. I too get FSBOs off Zillow. I used to when I called them. I guess I'll start again. And when I call them on the phone, the first thing is I say, similar to Mitch, I say, look, I'm not trying to list your house, so don't worry. And I just get into a conversation with them that, you know, I next ask them, you know, are you willing to work with agents if we can bring you a buyer that'll pay, you know, what you're asking for the house? And they go, usually 9 times out of 10, they go, yeah, sure, of course, you know, we'll pay out 3% or 2.5% or whatever. Then I just get into a really easy conversation with them and just say, you know, I don't know if I have a buyer for your home, but you know, I saw a lot of homes in the area and I'd love to just come by and take a look. And that way I could tell you whether I do have a buyer. And I could also give you some tips. I know you're not, you know, looking for an agent or whatever, but I can also give you some tips while I'm out there, if that'd be helpful. And they go, yeah, but it's really important to break, like everyone's calling them saying, when are you going to list your house? I can sell your house. I can sell your house. It's, you know, the whole, I like what Mitch was saying about getting in front of them, you know, knocking on the door. So I'm just trying to get in the house and meet them and walk around and then get into a conversation with them. And then while I'm there, I always ask them, you know, I ask them how they arrived at the price and whether that's their bottom line price. You know, if I brought in a buyer, I know you're listed for X amount, but what's your bottom line number? And a lot of times that'll always be lower than where they're listed. And basically, and now I'm going to start bringing them a seller disclosure, Mitch. That's awesome, by the way. But you just want to be a resource to them. And I also say, like Mitch says, you know, I know you're selling it yourself, but you're probably going to, you know, if you do find a buyer, you may have some questions, because I don't know if you've ever done this before. And so I give them a card and say, you can always reach out. But when I'm there, I do try to, if not get the listing, and explain to them why it's a good idea, the liability, et cetera, to list with an agent. But if not, to be a resource to them and then to follow up, because the reality is they are going to list, most of them are going to end up listing the house. But really when I'm there, what I'm trying to figure out is, what is their bottom line number? Are they willing to pay out a commission? And if so, can I make up that extra, say 2.5 or 3%? And a lot of times, you know, I can. So I just explained to them, you know, I basically proposed to them, look, if I could do all the work for you, find you buyers, qualify buyers, get it to close escrow, negotiate repairs, et cetera, and net you the same dollar amount you're netting now, why wouldn't you do that, basically? So the whole idea is getting in front of them. And what happens is when they go on the market, as we all know, they're going to get a million phone calls, not from buyers, but from agents trying to list their house. And they're just like expired listings. They get really, really frustrated and very antagonistic. And so you have to, the first thing I always say is, I'm not trying to list your house. And that does take them off guard, because that's the opposite of what everyone else is doing. So I do think we're going to see more for sale by owners, because, you know, they're going to just get frustrated. A lot of them I think we're going to actually see people listed with agents. The house doesn't sell because it's priced too high, and then trying to sell it on their own.
Let me unmute. I like that. I like that approach due to the fact that, you know, you're not telling them they can't do it. You're just saying, look, would it benefit you and your family if I could add my professional fee on top of it? And it still wouldn't cost you anything, but you get full representation and you get all the headaches, everything off your plate.
Yeah, that's why you got to ask that pricing question is really important.
Yeah, pricing question is definitely important. All right, we're going to go from Matt over to the double D, Dennis DeSouza. Look, he's in orange today. He must have flew in from Ipanema or something down in Copacabana or whatever it is, the beach down in Brazil. Go ahead. So Dennis, what are you guys doing when you're trying to get FSBOs?
Yeah, so those are great tips, Mitch. I love your stuff with the disclosures. That's fantastic. But, you know, the one thing we have to remember is I try to flip it completely about selling their house and turn them into a buyer. Because I asked them, I'm like, hey, Mr. Seller, I'm not here for your listing, just like Matt and Mitch said, and just say, hey, when you do sell your home on your own, give them the power, okay, where are you going to go to? Oh, we're going to stay here. We're going to go here. We're going to go there. Great. I'd love to help you. Could I get you a list of homes that would be a replacement once your home sells, and maybe then you can get an idea of what's out there for sale. Right? So now you're building it's all about relationships, right? So now you get in a relationship with them, they're like, yeah, sure. And then that's just invokes a conversation. Where are you going? What's your plans? I'm moving because my kids moved out, or whatever the situation is. So once you build that relationship, when their house does not sell, guess who they're going to talk to? The person that's helping them out find another home. So hopefully that makes sense. We also are going to do, it's going to be the exact same campaign that we do for the expireds, which is the for sale, guaranteed sale, basically postcards kind of thing. Like, hey, this person, we have one postcard that has like 5 houses on it. They couldn't sell their house. We sold it for this much. They couldn't sell their house. We sold it for this much. And just kind of pound it on them. And it's like a 13 postcard campaign that we do. So that's in process. We're redesigning it. If everybody wants to see them, I could bring them on another episode once I get them all done. Okay. I'd be happy to share them with people.
So let's go from Dennis over to Philly. My brother from another mother, Craig Lurch. Lurchy, when you guys have talked to FSBOs in the past, right? Because it's a different atmosphere now with FSBOs, right? Because they think everything's selling and so forth. What type of objections are you receiving from the FSBOs, and how are you handling those objections?
The biggest objection to most of every FSBO is trying to do one thing, is save the commission. End of story. Bottom line, they're trying to save a commission. They also don't think that we have any value to it. And there's where the challenge is. They think that we're a commodity. So once we prove there's some value, and 2, that there's a cost, but the cost really isn't them, as I've explained it to them, as I do explain it to them, their light goes on a little bit. One of the things I say all the time, I said, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, if I list your house and I don't sell your house, do you owe me any money? And the response typically is no. I said, so if a buyer comes here and buys the house, whether you're for sale by owner or not, who is really paying the commission? It comes off of your side, but who is really paying it? Because if you don't sell it, you're not paying me for my time. I'm a gambler. I go to Las Vegas and I know I got an 80% chance I'm going to sell your house. The transaction's paying. So my job is to represent the transaction. Once a buyer comes in, the money's just coming off of your side of the net. So theoretically, the buyer's paying the commission. It's just coming off the numbers, so they don't have to write a check for whole. They're able to finance it 80%, 20, 90%, whatever it may be, because that number is built into the sale price already. So they're financing our commissions. You're the one who's just passing it along. It's kind of like a seller assist. And then once they get that, they're like, huh, you're kind of right. So.
Any other big objections you've been hearing out there you've come across?
That they don't have to fill out the seller disclosure. Yes, you do.
Do they?
Ignorance is expensive. Yes, you do. So I know then when I say that's pretty cool, because here's the law, I give it to them.
Right.
So you're not anything above me, and you can't claim layman. Those are the 2 objections I hear all the time. I don't have to do this.
What I do sometimes too, and I'll just give everybody this tip, is I'll take the header of all the different forms sellers have to sign or provide, and I'll put it on one page, and I'll say, and I'll put check boxes next to it and say, did you already fill out all these forms? And of course they haven't. They don't have access to it. And then I just show them the liability factor, and then show how we do things different and what our value is.
I'd love to be able to find out
professional fees.
I wonder if there's a way that we could find out how many lawsuits have been faced against the for sale by owner in the state, not with a realtor.
Well,
that would be scary.
There's a small company called Google. Just Google it. It's gonna be on there somewhere, right? Definitely on there somewhere. But I like that. I like the objection handling and so forth. All right, let's shoot over to Cameron. Cameron, when we're there, when you're going into FSBOs, what is the setup? Are you just trying to get through the door? Are you setting up the appointment? Are you doing a drop by? How do you get it from picking up the phone, calling them, to getting in their house?
Okay, so it's good to see everyone. I feel so much better. I don't feel like a zombie, so that's good news. I haven't done for sale by owners since 2017. I actually pulled up what the last thing I did directly to for sale by owners in 2017. We had a 65-page book, And this was amazing. And like everyone, Matt Battiata, that's info, those lines that you used are exactly what we used. Mitch, I love the idea about the seller disclosure. Those are all great lines. Door knocking is typically how we used to do this or how we used to distribute this. You would walk up the door, do the door knock. Hi, I'm so-and-so. Again, I'm not looking to sell your house. I didn't know, whoa, I'm a buyer's agent. I just sold the home down the road here, but you didn't see my sign because I'm a buyer's agent, which means that you can really do it in any neighborhood if you feel comfortable to. It's up to you guys. But I just sold the home right down the road here. We had so many buyers, and I seen yours was for sale. And I have this amazing book that I give out to all the for sale by owners. And this book, it starts off, and I'm gonna be real quick for you guys, but it has an intro that says, this booklet is designed for you, the for sale by owner. I understand your motivation and I'm happy to make the process smoother for you. I love this business and I've helped buy and sell homes. I respect that you want to sell your own home and not high pressure you into trying to list your home. My hope is only this: if you decide to hire an agent, discount firm, traditional, or somewhere in between, that you at least talk with me before making a final decision. And then I go into this 65-page book that goes into things like showing advice during the showing, appraisers and how it works. And it's amazing, guys. It outlines it. I could sell this book as an ebook if I wanted. The reason it works is because I know no one's going to read 65 pages. No one does. They'll read 3, 4, 5, they'll get into it and they'll get sidetracked and busy. But I'm the only one that gave them actual valuable information. Every other realtor came over and looked and tried to sell them and he and haw, whereas I left you the way to sell your home if you're able to. And we all know the thing is most for sale owners really don't have the time, the knowledge, or the expertise to sell their own home unless the market is booming and anyone could do it. So with this book, I give you the knowledge, but really I'm the expert. And not only does it, give you the knowledge, but it shows that I'm the expert because I'm the one producing this. Now you could produce this for yourself. You change the name that, on every page it says, written or presented by me, or it could be you. It's just a template and anyone could do this. So it's something that we did before that really worked well. I will say the same thing everyone else did. When you that first interaction, those first 7 seconds, those are always the most important. You have to make sure they know that you're not there just to list their home. You're a buyer's agent or you're working with buyers or whatever it is you want to say, but you're not just there to get their listing, because like everyone knows, they've gotten dozens and dozens and dozens of calls and people, doing everything they can, all the slimy stuff people do with the same corny script of how long have you lived at the home? And it just doesn't work. And they've heard it. So you have to stop them in their tracks. And then you can move forward with how you want to, give them information and provide to them. When you provide to them, that is how you are going to get for sale owners. It's very rare. I've never experienced the door knock, get inside, and then sign a listing agreement the same day with a for sale owner. It's always give them information, follow up with them, see how things are going. A week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks later, you get a call. Hey, this is Fred. Do you remember us? Of course I remembered you. I call you guys 4 times. I've sent you 15 emails. Of course. Well, I think we're ready to try it. We loved everything you've shown us. And then remember, last thing, guys, and this is something that you all need to be doing with the social media and the videos. I just got $1 million listing for sub owner by doing this. When I was there showing their home, I just did a quick video and I'll show you guys real quick what it looks like. It's real simple. You just do this on your phone, right? Look through their house. I presented this to them afterwards and the guy was blown away. I said, this is viral marketing. This is what you need. And this is what is setting us apart and how we sold so many homes in the last, year. That's something interesting. And it was almost within like 5 or 6 hours. He says, if you'd like to come by and we'll sign up and we want to get one of those videos done and get it marketed. So viral marketing, guys, with the social media, with the videos, that's another thing that you can provide to them, show them, and it works. You're able to get thousands, if not tens of thousands. And if you guys do it consistently, millions of views, there's no one else in your market that's doing that. So that is something that stands apart immediately with the booklet, with the social media. Why would they not choose you? The question really that I think a lot of agents fight is, why would someone really pick me? We don't like to talk about this, but in the mirror, we talk about this. Why would they pick you? Well, these are things that stand apart. You can do them. And you will get more business and they will work, and you're going to get business coming to you because you're providing to them, right? That makes sense. So that's my advice.
Love it. Great stuff. I love the video aspect of it and sending that. We do a lot of videos, and I think videos catch on and they're instantaneous. People connect with them. It's not that long. How long is that video? A minute?
40 seconds.
40 seconds. Perfect.
Yeah. So
40
they lose
seconds
attention. They lose attention at 12 seconds. It doesn't matter what it is. At 12 seconds, it's over. So from then on, they're literally thinking about emails or text messages or whatever it is. So you have about 30 seconds of their real attention that they're going to look. And if it's good, it has good music. And you know, it highlights things. That's something that no one else can do. And it sets you apart. And of course you sell it to them as well. You know, this is what made us sell so many homes last year. And it really does.
Okay, cool. I like that. All right.
And quick question, quick note there, Pete. So I used Google. What a concept. 71% of all real estate litigation is for sale by owners. That's 71%. That blows me away. 71% of all lawsuits are for sale by owners.
71%. That's a big number.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing a video on that today. I did not know that. That's crazy.
Yeah, just Google it. It's a really cool. I just pulled up the article. It talks about. I'll just read the paragraph. 71%
Can
of
you
all real
clip
estate.
that link in there?
Yeah, can you
Yeah, that's a good idea.
cut and paste, put it in there?
Yep, got it. It's done.
And
Okay.
Pam, can you put your ebook in there or something so we can all copy it and not recreate the wheel? And I'll just say that I'm your brother, but I'm just a little tanner. That's all.
I'm going to update it because it's like from 2017. I just want to make sure that nothing's out of sync, and then I'll upload it and we'll get it uploaded for everyone.
Okay, that sounds good. I like that. All right, good stuff.
Yeah,
Mitch,
put it in-
did you have a quick question? I know your hand was.
No, that was just to tell you about the 71%.
All right, let's go out to the beach. Let's go to Randy Zimnoch, who's on the sand. Look at how nice it is there. We're all fantasizing about being in Bali with him. Randy, what's your approach on FSBOs? I know you have a different approach because you have a plethora of investors. And how do they typically buy FSBOs, and how do you get opportunities for those investors to buy a FSBO? You got to unmute first. That's the first step of getting a FSBO.
Oh, Pete. So I'm going to actually take a different angle on this for everyone that's listening. If you are working with investors or are planning on potentially, one way to break into getting listings is through the investor FSBOs, because they exist as well. And what I mean by that, like, for example, a couple months ago, I met this investor at a mastermind that I heard him say that he's doing pretty high volume, about 5 to 6 deals a month between rehabbing and selling and or wholesaling. So when I hear those type of numbers, I always want to get to know that person. So I reached out outside of the mastermind, connected with him, learn about his business. I asked how I can maybe add value from my experience. And really what I'm also after, it's like, when I know that there is an investor that does that much, my question is always going to be, well, how are you selling your properties, right? And interestingly enough, they're doing a flat fee MLS listing themselves. Right. So now, if you don't know what that is, that's basically, you know, paying a broker who's basically taking a, you know, $300, maybe $400 from you as a for sale by owner. And all they do is enter the information that you provide them into the MLS. So that way it gets exposed to the agents, but they are not your agent. All they're doing is providing a service or entering the data into the MLS. All the calls go to the owner. They don't go to the agent, right? And you'll know easily on the MLS where a seller will do that is because the confidential remarks that we see as agents, or private remarks, depending on which MLS you are in all over the state, it will say, do not contact the agent, contact the owner, here's the number, right? When you see that, that basically is a flat fee entry type of a listing. And that's a false for sale by owner, basically. So this is what these guys are doing. And I was like, interesting. So by doing such volume, who is handling all the negotiations and all the counters? I'm like, I've sold many of my own flips. I know that's a lot of work. Like and I speak from, and then, you know, and of course, this guy is the guy, he's the disposition guy. He's like, oh, I know, I've been overwhelmed. And, you know, and I know selling a property in today's market, it's easy, but at the same time, it's also a ton of work because all the offers and counters and agents getting pissed at you if you don't get back to them in time. And anyway, so I went into those pain points. I was like, well, look, man, I think I can help you. And maybe we can design this where we can build out a sales agent within your company. And let me see. And then, but anyway, that whole conversation went now for another 30 minutes into like, really, what does that look like? And I basically educated him why it would make sense for him to have an agent on the team that will sell all his inventory, right? And what he's going to pay that agent is going to actually come back to him once we get the system going. Because I go, when you get a call from a buyer and they don't like your house, what do you do with that buyer, Anthony? And he's like, nothing. I don't have time. I don't, whatever. Like, that's a common response, right? From busy investors. They just want to sell their house. They don't really care for that buyer if they go and buy something else. I'm like, well, look, if we have an agent that's representing you on every single sale, number one, they're going to take all these calls away from you. All of that is going to be redirected to that agent. That agent is going to negotiate everything for you and present you the best offers. Then I was like, the agent is going to maximize your listings, which is you're not doing because you don't want to do that, right? That's not your goal. We're going to get more business from that. And then we can pay you a referral fee because most of the time, one of them is usually licensed, believe it or not. And if they're not, there is a workaround for how I can compensate them with, you know, for doing marketing internally. So anyway, so I said, we can actually get you, get you an agent on the team, and that agent will pay for itself. How do you like that if we could set that up? So that's my angle because I deal with a lot of investors. So the takeaway for you guys, if you're out there and you want to kind of tap into that investor community, which is really where I flourish, is listen to those type of cues. Like, if they tell you they're doing a lot of rehabs, even if it's 1 or 2 a month, ask them like, well, who's selling them? How are you maximizing them? And that can lead you to basically you becoming the listing agent for them, but you have to also lead with value and how can you actually pay for yourself? Because that's what investors are also all about, the bottom line, right? So anyway, that's my angle. And literally right now, Pete, just so you know, like one of the agents on my team, I'm going to be setting him up to be their listing agent in San Bernardino in the Empire. And he's with me on my team in that area. And he's going to literally take over the whole sales department. Like,
that's awesome. I love stuff like that. That's great. And I like the angle that you took too, because you see that a lot where, especially out here on the West Coast where listings are just put in for a flat fee, right? And then the seller has to handle everything. And they get tired of that pretty quickly. Another program you guys can use is FSBOTrack, FSBOTRAC. It's just a database management system that manages all the FSBOs. FSBOTrack. I'll put in the chat so everybody has it. And I don't think it costs that much per month. I think it's like $10 or something. But just tell them Pete sent you and they'll charge you double. That's all. So let's go around the thing. Look, we got Michael on here. He's a new guest of Matt's, and he does real estate out here on the West Coast. Mike, have you ever dealing with FSBOs and come across that? And what was your approach?
Yeah, not a whole lot. It's been about 5 years or so since I worked with a FSBO, but what did I do? I brought a client to show. The client that didn't want to buy it, I ended up staying in touch with that seller and getting a dialogue going. And within 2 weeks of them not being able to sell, I was able to do it. I had to come to a very reasonable term for them. I think it was a 4% or 4.5% total commission and maybe a $800,000 house. But yeah, they had to get worn down and just see how tough it was. I didn't have that dialogue with, do you have all these disclosures done? I didn't know any of that yet. But after that, I put out a little 85 pager that just has some of those, what you mentioned about, you know, we didn't have the lawsuit numbers in there, but hey, you're going to screw yourself. You're going to have a tough time. They turn 3 pages into it. Like I think Cameron was saying there, and, you know, they'll surrender. I just, I kind of took the foot off the gas because they wore me down for sure.
I love it. That's a good story to say. I think you created a relevant dialogue because you did bring a real buyer, right?
Yeah.
So it made it real. Everybody says, oh, I may have a buyer, I may have a buyer, but it's
Right.
even better to bring a buyer and say, look, I'm going to bring a buyer over to see it and
Mhm.
try to sell it for you.
Yeah.
And don't worry about the professional fee. I'll work that in the price.
Right.
That's it. But most for sale by owners, right, Michael, they'll pay you 2.5%, 3%.
Right.
They're just trying to save it on the listing side.
Right.
But they don't understand the numbers and how to expose the property and what we do to expose it. So I think that's another way to kind of take that angle and really share with them how much you'll be able to expose it to the greatest number of buyers in the marketplace that they're not able to do. They think just because they put it on Zillow or Realtor or Redfin that all these people are going to come flocking, but they don't want to deal directly with the seller. You know,
Right.
they don't like that. So that's a big thing. So I like that approach. I like that you brought somebody who is real and brought them over there and so forth. I mean, the big thing too, you guys, is don't talk about commissions, talk about professional fees. We're professionals. Hey, if I do a professional service for you, will you pay me a professional fee? Or better yet, we can add it on to what you want, what's your bottom line. We'll just add it on there. So it could really cost you nothing. And I'll take care of everything and get rid of liability and so forth and walk you through everything. Do you have all the forms? And talk to them about the forms and meet with them belly and go through all the forms. A lot of people don't do that, right? Or they say, oh, I talked to this, discount broker. I can throw it on there $500. Why would I pay you 20 grand? Say, that's a great question because I get 4.3% on average in the marketplace. So it's really not even costing you 20 grand. You're making an extra 10 with no liability. And by the way, they're not a discount broker. They're a reduced service broker where they're putting all the service and all the time and all the headaches and all the liability back on you. So is that the best thing for you and your family to get you moved to this spot or to get you on your way or to get the most money out of your house? And then just share with them, like Lurchy said, the big thing is if we don't sell, you don't have to pay me anything. I don't get a nickel till you have all the money in the bank. And it's entirely your decision if you want to sell or not. So I'd rather bring you 20 offers and have you turn all of them down than bring you 0. How many offers have you had so far? Oh, well, my neighbor offered me, I was asking 650. He offered me 550. Of course he did. If you're going to sell for 550, I'm your buyer. I'll buy it right now. So I know I can turn around and sell for 700, but that's not fair to you. So I think you have to have those types of conversations and they have to be real and stop telling FSBOs they can't do it. Every agent loves to convince them that they're not able to do it. Say, you can do this. It's not the easiest, but you can definitely do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm here to support you. If you need a for sale by owner sign, I'll drop one off to you. Just be a resource and help them and don't come empty handed, come with some kind of value that's going to help them get to where they want to go. I think that's the big mistake most agents make is they just show up like Humpty Dumpty, dum-da-dum. Yeah, I'm going to come over and see it. And I told you I had some buyers. And then they get there and say, yeah, this won't work for any of my buyers. The guy basically says, well, you're full of shit. And I don't know why I let you in my house. Or the other objection you always hear is, well, why didn't you come by sooner? And that's real easy. You just have to say, because I'm not on Zillow all the time. And that's the only place it's on. I mean, there's no other way of me knowing unless I drove down your street. What are the odds of that? Right? You want to expose it to most people so you can create a bidding process, or you can create excitement, or you can create urgency, or you can create FOMO. You know what FOMO is? Fear of missing out. That's the greatest, aphrodisiac in the world when it comes to business. And if you're able to explain that to people and help them and walk them through it, they're going to see the benefits. But you have to come from a place of benefit. You can't come from a place of you can't do this and it's never going to work and all these other things, because that's all BS and they'll see right through it. And what they'll end up doing is saying, hey, look, you know, I don't need you. Don't call me again. Don't come by, because you just killed your authenticity and your honesty and your integrity. Just tell them the truth. Say, yeah, I get it. I'm just like you. I try to save the money too. But I'm also a realist. And if I can make more money and put more money in your pocket, is that worth entertaining? I think it is. If you say no, this is the only way you're going, not a problem. I have a different program. It's called Pete Knows Arson. I'll come over and burn the house down for you. Right? I'm joking. I'm joking. That's my $4 plan. Actually, out in California, it's now a $7 plan for a gallon of gas. But you know, you got to have fun with it too, and you got to break the ice, because they're all on edge, and they've had 50 calls at 7 o'clock in the morning, and they're frustrated, and everybody's telling them they're going to show up with somebody, and nobody shows up because they're all full of it. Right? But these are coming back on. The market's definitely shifting, and you have to have the right dialogue. Does anybody have any really good FSBO scripts that you've used in the past, or made your own dialogue that you use when you talk to FSBOs? Anybody want to take that?
You know, I wanted to add one thing that I was going to mention, is just that I think the common theme is to be a resource to the seller, right? As opposed to going in there, because everybody's going in there saying you can't do it and list your house with me. So one thing I was thinking of when you were talking just now is I also get into a conversation with them about, you know, contingency periods when they accept an offer, and also how they're going to pre-qualify the buyer. And they usually don't really have any plan for that. So I always say, look, I've got a great lender who I've used for years. Any serious buyers that you get in here that, you know, want to make an offer on your house, just have them call me, and I'm happy to pre-qualify them for you. At least that way, you know, you've got a buyer. You know, I explain to them they can't really trust that pre-approval letter that they, you know, bring from Bank of America or whatever. So I think the real important thing is to be a friend and a helper and a resource to the seller, as opposed to, because then you're on their team and you're trying to help them. And I love the disclosure idea from Mitch. You just want to be that resource for them, because they are going to probably end up listing the house. And so I just think if you come in with that, in that position as a helper versus somebody that's telling what they can't do, you're got a huge leg up over everybody else.
And also, you guys use, when you're talking to them, use your body, right? Say there's a big buyer pool out there. It's this big, but 99% of the buyers, your house may not fit their needs or whatever. So you're trying to get that 1% on your own, and then ask them this question. I'm just kind of curious. Why didn't you elect to use a professional real estate person in selling your home? See what they say. Don't say agent, just say a professional real estate person or service to sell your home. And they're going to say, I don't see any value. I don't see this. Say, yeah, I get it. I mean, most of them don't have a lot of value. They'll like that. It's refreshing. Go with the wave. Don't go against the wave. That's how you get crushed. I've had so many people say to for sale by owners, and I cringe or expired. Oh, you can't do this, or you did this wrong, or, you know, you're not going to be able to achieve it. And that's just their ego getting involved, because they want to validate what they're doing as a profession. Don't worry about it. So
you gotta always be telling them when you sell your house, when you get a buyer. It's always gonna be always about them. And once you start bringing yourself into the picture, they'll come to you and ask you when they're ready. You just got to be there following up. And you know, we used to, when I call back, I was like, have you tried Craigslist? Have you tried, have you tried eBay? There's all, you know, give them all these little tips on marketing and stuff like that, because usually they don't do it anyways. But you're coming from the side of contribution, and when you're coming from the side of contribution, you know, I tell you, I don't care what you're doing out there. If you do everything from contribution, sort of like what we do on our panel here, right? This is all from contribution, right? If you live your life of contribution, you'll get so many more listings, so many more buyers. This is such an easy business. And I always tell, I was talking to a new agent yesterday. She's like, it was at this conference I was speaking at. She's like, so how'd you get so good at this? I go, I sell from the heart. I go, my only goal is to help them accomplish their goal. And Zig Ziglar says, what, if you help enough people get what they want, you'll get what you want. And FSBOs are no different than that. The expireds are no different than that. They're all the same. They just want to be loved. They just want to, they just want to be helped. And as long as you help them, you'll get the listing.
I agree. That's what they want. They want somebody who's going to listen, not listen to interrupt, but listen to really guide them. And not tell
Understand.
them they can't do it. Go ahead, Cam.
They want to understand. They want someone to understand the situation that they're in because they are special. Remember, people, everyone is special in their own way, their own situation. The world's on fire, but if they're selling their home, the only thing that matters to them is selling their home, and you have to be on that page with them. Mitch, you're spot on, and this is why I love you, buddy. Is that if you come from caring and you want to do what's best for them, and you provide good service and do things that are above and beyond what we're teaching you guys, there's no reason they wouldn't or they shouldn't, because you're helping them. You actually are making them more money in the end of the day. You just have to let them decide that on their own. And that's what you do. You provide for them. I love the books, guys. And as this gets ramped up and as more for sale by owners go out, having something that shows that you're an industry expert that you can leave with them, it resonates really well. And I think it's something that we should definitely dive into more.
Yeah, and it's just like the other night where my 8-year-old came and stood next to me, and I had a piece of chocolate, and he just kept staring at me, and all of a sudden he dropped the bomb. Right, the bomb was caring is sharing. That was his line. So I think if you care, you'll share whatever you have with those people and not be threatened, and take that aspect out of it. And something, if they sell it, good luck. By putting it out there and believe in this philosophy, the more you put it out there, the more it'll come back to you. They'll probably tell their friends, hey, this guy was great. He didn't ask me for a thing, and I was fortunate enough to find the right buyer, the needle in the haystack, and get through the process without getting sued. But this guy helped me. So if you're ever going to think of sell or buy something or do anything, this is a great guy because he's honest and he has integrity. Go ahead, Cam.
I got one more for you. So you call them up, ring, ring. Hello. Oh, we sold. Oh my God, Pete, congratulations. I'm so happy for you. You guys were getting out there. You're getting out to Florida. I'm so excited. So one quick question. I don't want to take up a lot of your time. I know you're busy. If you were the real estate expert, which one of your neighbors would you go talk to because you think they might be selling next? And that was one that you guys gave me last week. I've used it and it's given me 2 hot seller leads that we haven't got listed yet. But you ask and they say, oh, Betty around the corner at unit 201. Sure as, knock, knock, knock. Hey, I just sold the one right across the way. Boom. Not only did you didn't even have to help the first people, but you're getting a list because you're getting that third-party validation. And it just makes it so much easier. You stop having to battle for listings because you are the expert. You're doing, you're the expert. And that's what you got to portray.
I love that. That's true. I mean, that's half the battle. And you got to be consistent when you do it. You have to have consistency with a process and get in front of them, you guys. Right now, belly to belly is the big thing. I don't care if you have to put on 15 masks, just get in front of them. Or have a mask that you can do it on your own. Have it say that, right? So I'm trying to get Bobby in here. He was coming in late. Yeah.
Hey, Matt, that was a great idea. I love having a mortgage guy involved, and I'm actually going to get 2 of my guys and start chasing that we're thinking. But one of the things that they can use, and the mortgage guys will definitely, do you guys know mortgage applications are down 40%? That's huge. The public doesn't know that. What does that mean? It's coming because the buyers are past frustrated. They're starting to say, no, I'm not buying. I'm going to rent now. I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to wait 8 to 12 months. We had 2 buyers we're working with this month. And we were trying, and there are no for sale buyers. There are no real expireds to try to pull out right now yet. But 40% mortgage application is a scary thing for sale by owner. So there's a statistic, but it's also a great way to get your mortgage reps that you're working with. Let them go bang the doors for the expired. Let them go do it and say, by the way, this is part of the deal. You get me in the door by you helping to pre-qualify, then we're working as a team. I'm not just giving you business. You got to bring me business. I'm going to bring you. But I got that from just now on this mastermind. So thank you for sharing that.
Love it. That's a good nugget. Definitely a good nugget. Yeah, I'm trying to get Bobby in here, you guys. I think he just got out of his hair appointment or something.
His hair stuff.
Yeah, his hair.
I think he's
so he was running a little late.
he hopped off. He had to go pick up put out a fire.
He had to put out a fire. Okay. All right. He probably forgot his comb. It's okay. Or his hairspray or something. I mean, Randy, what else are you seeing in your marketplace? You know, let's take some questions from people who are on this right now. We have a bunch of participants, and put your questions in the chat box and I'll ask these guys and let's see what we can do. Matt, question for you. The market is shifting. Do you see it making a huge change? If so, how can we prepare for this? Can you give us some tips? That's from Matt Battiata. Like I said, people, he's not bragging. He's just applying for a job. Go, Matt.
I see a pretty good change coming. I've been predicting it for like 3 years, so I'm always kind of early, but I do see a correction coming. I didn't know that mortgage applications were down so much. That's really interesting, but yeah, I do. I think we're going to see, I think we're going to see a real correction. Honestly, a good thing. I think it's going to be a much better market for agents in general because, it's been really almost impossible, as everyone knows. It's been difficult, I should say, to work with buyers in this market. And so for everybody on this call, by the way, we did a call earlier this week about, generating buyer leads. And instead of what most agents do, which is marketing a specific property, okay, like on Facebook or Facebook COVID, right, is all the baby boomers which is the biggest segment of the homeowners out there. All the baby boomers, when they start to see that the market is correcting, they're all going to put their homes on the market because what do they want to do? They all want to downsize. They don't need the big house anymore. They want to downsize and they want to travel and so forth. So, for example, do ads targeted towards, baby boomers who are downsizing. Right. I was doing that in 2019 because it seemed like every other call that I got was are going to be baby boomers who want to downsize because they're going to all remember back to 2006 when their home value was here and how much it dropped to 2012 and then how long it took to get back up to those peak prices. It took about 10 years. And so right now they're going to say, we don't have 10 years. We don't want to be in this house for 10 years. So I think that's the biggest thing you're going to see is you're going to see all the baby boomers putting their homes on the market. So I think the word to the wise is market to the baby boomers who want to.
I like that idea. They might have bought it 40 years ago or 30 years ago. They can carry that tax base forward, usually up to 3 times. In California, it's up to 3 times if you're over the age of 55. It's called Prop 19. So you can carry that forward with you. And that's a huge tax benefit when they go to buy another house and not get hammered with a new tax number, right? So their taxes out here, have to understand the ins and outs of those tax laws and how they work. So print them up. I mean, out in California, it's Prop 19. You want to understand that. If you are going after people who are selling investments, understand 1031 exchanges and how those work and how they can do a tax deferred 1031 exchange. It is intriguing with mortgage apps being down, you guys. It's telling the story. And my feeling is that because it's been such a crazy market. The important thing is no matter who you're dealing with, whether it's a regular seller, a FSBO, and expired, just be honest with them and pre-frame to them expectations that the frenzy is over. You're not going to have people at 12 o'clock at night outside your door waiting to give you an offer where you have 20 offers on the property. It's all price sensitive and sector sensitive, of course. And I'm writing into my listings, I'll say, hey, if you want to try this price, we'll try it for 14 days. But if we're not getting traction, then it automatically gets brought down to this price. And it's in there that they've already signed. I don't even have to call them and ask them. And I know on my scheduling, 14 days to the date that it goes live, it automatically adjusts down. Because otherwise they'll be leaving money on the table. So that's a big, big, big thing. Oh, there's a lot. He's been able to duplicate.
There's actually
himself.
3 Matt Battiatas alone just on this producer master. Imagine how many he's got working for him.
Well, that's why the 3 Matt Battiatas are going on the new and improved dating game up in LA next week. And
like,
you know, Michael's going to come on and say, I'm Matt Battiata.
Matt
And the other guy's going to come on and say, I'm Matt Battiata. And then Matt's going to come on and say, I'm not bragging. I'm just. I saw a great stat the other day, and I'll just share this with everybody on the call, that if you had gotten a loan in February or March for $800,000, right? An $800,000 loan, the loan amount all in was roughly around $3,400. That same loan 2 months later is now $4,600 a month. It's a big jump. That's a third. Going down. And when you do that, it eliminates buyers. And that's when inventory sits and starts building. I mean, out here, our inventory has gone up in the last 90 days. It's already gone up 1,400 houses. Now that's not that significant. We still have a housing shortage. You know, at our high times, we were between 12,000, 14,000 houses. But I think you can see that build pretty quickly over the summer, especially if, you know, they do another brilliant plan, they raise the rate another 0.5 point, and you see rates make money when the market's low. We make money when it normalizes. That's it. Just keep finding the people who want to make a move and tell them the truth and inform them, because they don't know. They're watching the news, and the news keeps saying that all the housing's going up, you know, 20% per month. And of course they want top money. So that's a big, big thing. Anybody else want to add anything? We have 1 minute left. 60 seconds. Give me your best tip. Your best nugget, go.
Check out your rental stats, how much rents went up. So if you're working with buyers that don't want to buy right now, give them that stat. I can guarantee you that will knock their socks off.
Rents are going to go up 20% out in California by the end of the year. Because where do all the buyers go that can't get a loan?
That's right.
They're not going to sleep at Randy's house on the beach. He's not allowing it. So they got to get something, right?
Matt Battiata. I think Matt Battiata's got room for all of them.
Yeah, Matt's duplicating himself left to right. Anybody else want to add anything? Any final nuggets?
Yeah, I got one.
Go, Michael.
I'm thinking since we are getting towards the top, I think we could all kind of agree on that one. And right now we know what the taxes are for 2022, right? We don't know what they are for 2023 yet, but they're going to be a hell of a lot worse. Some of us have, bought at a pretty sweet time out there, and it'd be a hell of a lot better if we thought we were going to be in a recession to cash out, get those sweet profits at the lowest tax rate and go somewhere for a little bit if we think we're going to be in a sideways market or a bear market for a little bit, right? I don't know. That's just my plan.
Great tip. No, Michael, you're right on, because, you know, a lot of people have to execute that by the end of this tax year, right? The end of 2022, and you don't know what's in store. When governments start changing protocol when it comes to real estate and capital gains, it can really affect your gain, right?
And the 1031 might be limited to a
Right.
$500,000.
Right.
Yeah.
They're gonna do something. You can't just keep printing money with no after effect. You have to get it from somewhere. And, you know, real estate's a $8 trillion business. So they're licking their chops, right? They're definitely licking their chops on that one. So that could change too. And you have to be upfront with people and say, look, I've met a lot of people who've crapped out by leaving their money on the table. You know, I would take the money off the table and be happy.
Yep.
Because you never know what can happen. And government change, government policy changes all the time. All these brilliant people who've never worked a job in their life, and they're just making this stuff up as they go. So that's it. Heavy government affects real estate. Just remember that. Okay, guys? Hey, great show. Great tips, great nuggets. Thank you for everybody coming from a place of contribution. We'll see everybody next week, and we'll have an awesome topic to get your business 5-10 exit. Okay, talk to you soon.
Thanks,
Peace
guys.
out.